The beating even captured on video. The girl's mother says the school isn't doing enough to keep her child safe. Fox 2's Ron Savage with the story.
It was here just before school started, out in front of Slauson Middle School. We're in Ann Arbor. Here's the incident. The cell phone video reveals one middle school girl assaulting another. Mya Georgiadis said it was her daughter who was assaulted. She dropped her 8th grade daughter off for class in the morning at Slauson Middle School here on West Washington in Ann Arbor. Another girl grabs her daughter from behind.
And as she was approaching the entrance of the school, she was viciously and barbarically attacked from another young lady. As the other girls looked on, she was knocked down, repeatedly hit in the head.
Georgiadis said that the school principal told her the girl that punched her daughter was suspended from school for 7 days. I confirmed that 7-day suspension with school administration. The reason for this attack? This mom says her daughter had preferred not to sit at lunch with the girl who attacked her.
This is not a 7-day suspension. This was not a fight. It was a malicious, premeditated attack, and it needs to be dealt as such.
Ann Arbor Public Schools released this statement, quote, "We absolutely have taken appropriate disciplinary actions in this incident in keeping with the guidelines and procedures set forth in the rights and responsibilities for students, teachers, staff, parents, and guardians. Situations involving student discipline are kept appropriately confidential." This mother says she's making it very clear to school administration that if the girl responsible for the attack is not expelled and kicked out of school, she's leaving the school district.
I'll be looking for another district, not just another school, another district. This is not okay. And this message needs to be sent out to Ann Arbor and everybody else. There are different schools and places for children like this. There's alternative schools for them.
Ann Arbor police are investigating this incident. It is a juvenile case, and right now the case is not complete. In Ann Arbor, Ron Savage, Fox 2 News.
What's up, everybody? This is Mr. 100K a day, and today we're going to be talking about another beautiful track and field athlete, Mya Georgiadis. Now, she is beautiful. She's young, 21 years old, single, and ready to mingle. The only thing is, she's another trash track and field athlete. She's mixed. Her mom, Mya Georgiadis, is a Greek national, and she gave her decent genetics, pretty smile, pretty hair, pretty skin. But Maya's father is black, and she was raised by a single mom. It's unclear if she even knows who her father is or she has any type of relationship with her, because on her Vanderbilt University profile, when it mentions who your parents are, it says literally only that she only has one parent, and that is Mya Georgiadis. So it's unknown exactly what the resume of her father is, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to focus on the fact that he's clearly black. And also her getting her ass whooped when she was in middle school. That video and that news report happened back in 2016 when she got her ass whooped in middle school. Her mom being the one who came and talked to the news media, that shows me that her black father wasn't around, because that really should have been her dad talking to the media. Her father should have been and taught her how to fight, how to defend herself, how to stand up to bullies. She got her ass whooped because she didn't want to sit at the lunch table with a girl on a lunch period. A person that was a friend of hers or whatever, but it probably was a girl that was jealous of her for whatever reason and decided to haul off and whoop her ass. So instead of defending herself, she gets ran up out of the school district and, gets humiliated. So, if that was my daughter, we're not pressing charges. Believe me, my daughter gonna know how to fight, and you put your hands on my daughter, she's gonna, be the one getting suspended, because, I'm definitely teaching her to send your daughter or you to the hospital if you decide to put your hands on my daughter. That's definitely how it's gonna go down. But Mya not having her black father in the household with her, being raised by a single mom, being raised by a Greek mom, Lord knows if she's been Americanized, the mom. Her being born in Greece, she may be been Americanized to the point where she doesn't even really understand the importance of having that black man in the household. She may have ran him off. Who knows what the situation was? The bottom line is she got her ass whooped on tape in middle school. Now she's at Vanderbilt University, smiling and cheesing and looking good and everything. She probably didn't talk about that ass whooping that she took. Why would she want to talk about it? But, that's another story. Now, Mya Georgiadis competes in the 400-meter dash and the 400-meter hurdles. also the heptathlon. Now, these are the main events that mixed girls participate in because typically they're dumpster juice, like Sydney McLaughlin, like Anna Hall, like Halia's Fountain. Many mixed girls in the United States end up in these events because they don't have the genetics to be really competitive in many other individual main events like the 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters. So they got to go to these trash events where it's usually a sum of averages like the heptathlon, or a trash event like the 400-meter hurdles, where for the most part, mostly failed sprinters end up in these events and try to thrive. I've said this many a times. The 400-meter hurdles is the long sprinter's graveyard. You either go there to live because you don't have the talent, or you go there to die because you don't have the talent, or you don't have to compete against real humans, modern humans, black people for the most part. So Mya is no exception to this rule. Her mom, being Greek, has allowed her to, as of July 15, 2025, represent Greece in international competition, which is good for her. It's definitely good for her. I'm happy she switched because of that fact. She can now avoid going to the U.S. championships, running her trash times, her trash events, and never making it anywhere in track and field. Now, her personal best in the 400-meter hurdles is 57.74 seconds, 55.61 in the 400 meters. Now, these times will get her absolutely nowhere in track and field. It won't get her anything. But the fact that she represents Greece and she doesn't, like I said, she doesn't have to compete against black Americans, black women from the United States, that gives her a significant advantage in international competition. Hell, she could end up at the Olympics in 2028, running 55 seconds in the 400-meter hurdles. She can do it. That's what happens when you decide to switch your allegiance and go to a different country when you have the option. A lot of black Americans do it when they're mixed. We saw Marcel Jacobs do it. Marcel Jacobs was a long jumper, and when he decided to represent Italy, we have seen what he was able to do, turn into an Olympic champion. We've seen a lot of the Jamaican and Nigerian athletes recently switch allegiances, and it's allowed them, and it will allow them to blossom in their career. But for the most part, it is most beneficial for Americans. In the United States, we have over 40 million blacks, and they're well funded. We got a lot of resources here, a lot of opportunity here. So it is extremely difficult to be competitive here in track and field against this group of people. It's better to go to a place like Greece, with a bunch of Neanderthals and be mixed. And it's much, much easier to be competitive there. Much, much easier. You'll be a fool to continue to compete for the United States, knowing what you're up against. So Mya, at Vanderbilt University, let's look at what she did before she got there. Before she got to there, she was a letter winner in basketball, volleyball, and track and field at Ann Arbor High School in Michigan. She boasts personal best of 14.39 in the 100-meter hurdles in high school, 42.52 in the 300-meter hurdles in high school, and 13 in the 400-meter hurdles in high school. She's a two-time Nike Indoor Nationals All-American. She was a New Balance High School Nationals All-American. So, and she was also, she was getting academic honors from 2018 and 2022. As a freshman at Vanderbilt, she ran 57.74 in the 400-meter hurdles. And she did that at the USATF Under 20 Outdoor Championships. And she got 16th in the 400-meter hurdles at the SEC Outdoor Championships. As a sophomore, she didn't compete. Maybe she was hurt. As a junior, which was this past year, 2025, she ran 50.99. Now, this upcoming year, I believe it's going to be her senior year. And it's going to be interesting to see, how she progresses. She hasn't ran a PR since 2023. So I don't know if it's because of injury or what the issue is being, but hopefully it's to her benefit. Knowing now that she has switched allegiances, if she stays consistent, even with injuries, her path should be a lot easier. When you're from the United States and you got to compete against all these blacks and you got to run really elite times just to even make nationals, it can be very discouraging for a person who's running elite times, but still does not make teams. We just saw it in 2024, Nia Ali, for example, ran 12-3 in the 100-meter hurdles at our trials and didn't make the team. Where you have women from other countries running 12-6 and they're at the Olympics. To me, that is a very, very unfair set of circumstances, and I think that the dynamic should change so that it will allow the elite athletes, regardless of what country you're from, to be at the championship meets. I think that's the only way for it to be. But Mya has a very, 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 beautiful future ahead of her. She's beautiful. She's young. She's attractive. She's smart, doing well in school. And I hope that she does well. I mean, if I had the opportunity, if I wasn't twice her age, I'd get her pregnant. I definitely would. But I think she's a little out of my age range at this point. I have to catch her next lifetime. Now, her mom, Jerry, you catch her on Facebook. She's beautiful. She's Greek. She talks about having her kids, Demetrius, Nia, and Mya. It's like, she's proud to be a mom. She's proud to be a mom, but she definitely highlights the fact that she's single and ready to mingle. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments. Is Mya, do you guys think she has the genetics to be competitive? Greeks are very prideful. They're very prideful when it comes to athletics. They've always thought themselves to be like the beacon of light in athletics, even though they're not. The Greeks were some of the first people who pushed the Olympics, the ancient form of the Olympics, years and years ago. So there's a lot of history there's a lot of history there, and it's going to be interesting to see how she develops. Do you guys think that with her genetic history, and we don't even know who her father is? I would love to know who her father is. As a matter of fact, she has her mother's last name. Now, I don't know if her mother's maiden name is Georgiadis, or if she was married and divorced the father, and that's how she inherited the name. But knowing that last name is the Greek name, it probably is the fact that she was, got pregnant by a black guy and she never married him, and the kids ended up with the mom's maiden name. That's what I believe happened. But anyway, tell me what you guys say in the comments. Is this young chick, Mya, when you look at her Instagram page, when you look at her profile, is she bad and bougie to y'all? Do she got to jump to put her jeans on? Could she be a model? Because she has some pretty nice features. Pretty hair, pretty smile, pretty skin, especially when she got her makeup done right, in my opinion. So, if I decide to change my mind about, linking up with her being out of my age range, I might slide into her DMs. But for now, I'm going to fall back and focus on what I got going on. Till next time, this is Mr. 100K a day. Holla. Peace.
My name is Mya Georgiadis. I'm a track and field athlete, and I never have to worry about dehydration with Drip Drop. I need something with 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar compared to leading sports drinks. Drip Drop isn't just another electrolyte powder. It's scientifically formatted for hydration when you need it the most. That's why I gotta have my drip.